What is up, guys, and welcome back to another episode of the Road to Glory Career Mode. This is episode number 43 we are into. And before we kick this episode off, guys, I just want to say right now, I understand it's becoming a bit tedious and boring and long in terms of how long it's taken us to get to the Premier League. Of course, playing 46 games over 3 seasons is no easy feat to do. So that's what, about, I guess, 138 games or something. If you play them all, that's a lot of hours. So put it this way, guys, if we get to the point where we're mathematically safe in terms of being able to guarantee ourselves the title, in my opinion, I will then go ahead and sim the remainder of the season out. As far as it is right now, we're not mathematically secure, of course. We're still very early on. We're not even halfway into this season already. But we are kind of in that situation where I'm thinking to myself, because we're still unbeaten, I'm kind of thinking in the back of my mind, maybe I shouldn't sim, but then at the same time, it is going to be such a long season if I play every single game that I just don't want to have to play literally another 46 games playing them all. So at this stage, if you get beaten pretty soon, maybe I'll start simming a few more. I do sim one in today's episode, though, but let me know what you think down in the comments below. If you're enjoying the championship and seeing this one, then great. If you want me to try and get myself to the Premier League as soon as possible, though, let me know in the comments. Let me know what you guys were thinking in terms of that as well. So yeah, so today's episode, guys, 3 more games plus 1 simmed one, so 4 in total for you to feast your eyes upon. The first of which comes here against Charlton Athletic, a team not doing too well for themselves in the league table. They are really struggling right now, but in terms of the way we are, we should be dispatching of Charlton with ease in this one. Of course, like I mentioned, I mean, no disrespect whenever I say something about any teams or anything in general. It's just in terms of what they're doing currently in game, we should be able to dispatch with them with ease. And we came into this one pretty good form. You can see as well, 14 wins, 5 draws, 0 defeats, of course, from our first 19 league games. So I was looking quietly confident for this, but Charlton got off the block swinging early on in this one. 17 minutes in, down the left-hand side, nice ball back inside here. He absolutely just mugged me off, the man there. Takes a strike on, all credit to him. It comes back off the post, and there was question marks for a penalty kick there. The referee waving away the protest, though, as it was, in fact, in his eyes, a fair challenge. But I'm not so sure, you know, because that could have quite easily gone down as a penalty kick over to Charlton. But from this, guys, it took right until the second half for anything to happen our way. 51 minutes in, Ollie Hill on the ball over the free kick. We've all seen what he's capable of doing from these sort of areas, but unfortunately the keeper met this one with a very decent save. From the corner then, we whip this one into the area after Ollie Hill gets it short. He's 5-star weak foot, so literally any foot I want to go with in that situation. Likelihood is it's going to be a decent ball into the area, and it was just that, as Riera Canadell won the header at the back post, forced the keeper into a save, and it fell again kindly for him to finish the ball off, courtesy of a Charlton Athletic defender's leg. You're going to see it takes a deflection. I think he still gets credited with the goal, though, because I do believe it was on target and not actually going out. It just took a deflection to take it into the goal. But you can see Canadell reacts first, and then, of course, there is the deflection off the defender's leg. Maybe it was actually going wide. I don't know. I think he got credited with it, which means it would have been on target. But, you know, if that had gone wide there, and if I'd have missed that chance, I would have been fuming. But as you can see, he did, in fact, get credited with the goal, so it will go down as a Riera Canadell goal, which is pretty nice to see as well for the young man getting himself yet another goal in his Hartlepool career. Looking to replace David Villa after this season is completely done. Of course, I need one more striker as well, I think, for the Premier League before we move in there, just to see what we are capable of doing. There are a lot of people as well, guys, that you guys are asking me to sign in terms of that one, but you know, there's a few pre-contracts I could go with. I'll show you them in an upcoming episode. There's a lot of good players in there as well that I could possibly sign. And also the board, as I said, want to keep me in a profit margin. And if I don't do it, my manager rating seems to go extremely low. So I'm in two minds as to whether or not I want to go ahead and make loads of signings, or whether or not I just want to keep my money and try and save my job. Basically, I don't think I'll get sacked if I don't do what the board say. But of course, you've seen it before where my manager rating has been increasingly bad. Especially in the Leeds United one, you know, when I didn't listen to what the board wanted me to do, and in the end went and did my own thing. And I don't want to have the same situation in this save. I don't want to be pissing off the board effectively, if you understand what I mean. So, you know, sometimes I have to be conservative with the money, especially in a Road to Glory career mode as well. You just got to go through your youth academy and try and get players in that way. But this time around, guys, we were doing pretty well for ourselves. You can see 2-0 up in this one. Little Ollie Hill, of course, the youth academy prospect, the man that came through as a scout future star, and he's absolutely delivered for us. Grabs ourselves a second goal, and then into the 90th minute we went as they were chasing a consolation in this for some strange reason. Lukijovic, running through on goal. Simple task to finish when he's in that position, and we did, in fact, grab the 3-0 advantage. So, comfortable in the end. Maybe not the most comfortable performances. You know, if Charlton had scored their earlier effort that they did have come back off the post, and if they did get a penalty from it, it could have been a much different task here. But in the end, it was quite easy for us after that second half performance. We came out of the block swinging in the second half, and eventually took the game away from Charlton, which wasn't too much difficulty. And as I say, I mean no disrespect by that. Of course, in real life, I'm sure they're doing quite well for themselves. But in terms of in terms of how I felt the second half went, I felt we were absolutely dominant in that second half, whereas the first half, it was me just sort of finding my feet. I haven't played FIFA in a while, so I was trying to get myself back into the sort of rhythm of things. You can see, by the way, as well by the match facts, 6 shots, 6 on target, which is always nice to see, because normally I can be quite wasteful with chances, but that game was a different story. So as you can see, we are, in fact, still flying high in the division, still unbeaten as well. We are currently sat 10 points clear of second place Hull City, who themselves are still unbeaten, but they've won 10 games and drawn 10. So in terms of that one, that's just a shocking result. I'm sure the Hull City manager, given the choice, would have lost some of those games that he got as draws just to pick up extra points if possible. I mean, you know, if they'd have lost a couple of those games and actually turned it into wins, so many more points could have been gained from that one. So, you know, it's one of them things. If you get too many draws, it becomes increasingly frustrating, and you get to the point where you're thinking you're maybe not going to get the results you're hoping for. Whereas, yes, it's always not nice, or yes, it's nice to not lose, but sometimes draws just aren't that much better, considering the fact that Hull City have had 10 wins and 10 draws from their opening 20 games. I suppose it's okay for them because they're sat in second at the moment, but I'm sure they would have much preferred to have some of those draws as wins and possibly 1 or 2 of those as losses to sacrifice that point. But sometimes in football, it's just not the case. And I think they drew with us, didn't they? I think we ended up with a 1-1 draw after they took the lead in it before Ollie Hill managed to equalise, which wasn't the greatest performance, but I'm still glad we haven't lost to them, all things considered there. We took on Villa here for the second game of the episode here at Villa Park. So they're a team in which I struggle with. If you remember back to way back on the start of FIFA 17, when we first began the Leeds United career mode, of course, Villa were one of the sides that we were playing against in the Championship to try and get ourselves back up in the Prem. And if you remember back to that, we struggled against them in the opening part of the series. So this is going to be an interesting one, because I don't know if they're still been in here since they got relegated in real life, or if they've come back down after going back up again. Because if that's the case, maybe they're not as much of a force as I should be fearing. If they've been here for the majority of the seasons that it's taken me to get here, then maybe they're not that great. But, you know, it is what it is. You can see their team on your screen. It's still pretty damn good. Yeah, they do, in fact, have Buns in between the sticks, or Bun in between the sticks. I can't remember exactly how you say it. And they also have Chester, and I think they had Grealish as well, still in the Villa side. So not too bad to see from their case, but of course our starting 11 on paper, and in terms of form in the league, in my opinion, is slightly stronger. And we got off to a pretty rocky start, I have to say. It took right until the 45th minute before anything actually did happen. And in the end, it was a decent chance. And, you know, to be given a chance like this, sloppy play from Villa there, and it not go in, my luck just didn't feel as though it was in. You can see the ball rebounded back off of the post, hit the keeper, and was trickling across the line before the defender did manage to clear it out, which I was a bit frustrated about. But came out the blocks in the second half, looking to make the impact here. Very lucky. Again, mistake made by the Villa defence, and Bradley Dack has a strike at goal. Good save in the end, though, from the Villa goalkeeper. And there was chance for, I do believe, no more in the game, and we ended up with a 0-0 boring draw. Now, these are the games that frustrate me the most, because, you know, if Villa had to come out here and they'd have actually given me a game, I wouldn't have been bothered about drawing this 0-0. But the problem was, they got 10 men behind the ball. They were looking to not even pressure me going forward, which I understand, you know. For a team that's still unbeaten in the division and that's high-flying as we are, I can understand the viewpoint of Villa trying to play defensive football. But at the same time, it's not fun to have the ball in, you know, the opposition's area and around the area and trying to break down 10 players when you only have 6 or maybe even 5 in some cases, trying to break them down. It's just not a good way to be playing the game, and it's so frustrating when it happens. You can see they had 0 shots on our goal, which was just not fun at all. But at the end of the day, a point is a point, and we did manage to come away from Villa Park with a 0-0 draw and still undefeated in the league. Moving on into the third game of the episode, then we took on Birmingham, as I said, for the first sim game of this episode, and we ended up going on to win it, I do believe, by 3-0, was it? I think Tejara and Jovic get 2 pretty quick goals in between that to make it 2-0, and I think there's one more before the end of the game, Tejara getting it there to make it 3-0. In fact, no, we ended up scoring again. Tejara got a hat-trick, I forgot, and that was ridiculous. To see him get a hat-trick, he's not even a starting 11 player all the time. He comes in when Luongo has a bit of a fitness issue, and he scored a hat-trick in that game, which is crazy. From centre defensive midfield, scoring hat-trick, that's pretty good. So you can see we went into the final game of the episode. We managed to pick up 6 points out of a possible 6, and then, of course, the draw against Villa. So 7 out of a possible 9 in total so far in the episode. So this was potentially going to be 10 out of 12. So if we could beat Reading here, this episode wouldn't have been too bad in terms of our results, provided that Hull did drop a couple. I mean, they're still 10 points behind, so at the end of the day, they have a mountain to climb, and of course, it relies on us losing our games and dropping points here and there, which, at the moment, yes, it looks likely I can get a couple of draws, but I just don't feel as though I'm going to lose, to be honest with you. Like, every time I come into the game with this team, I know for a fact that even if I go a goal down, I've got the likes of Ollie Hill, David Villa, both experienced already, even though Ollie Hill is a very young age. He's still got a lot of experience. He's played over, what, now, I'd say 50 to 80 games for Hartlepool, so he's no slouch, even though he is a very young age, and he's no slouch to scoring goals either, finishing second last year in League One in terms of the top scorers list, only behind David Villa, of course, and then finishing top of the assist list. He is no slouch, and he's got a lot of experience in scoring goals, so I know for sure if I ever go goal down, if I slap Ollie Hill up in the attacking threat, chances are he's going to get himself a chance and maybe even bury one. But you can see this Reading team, 4-3-3. I don't come up against this all that much in career mode, which I'm a bit surprised about. It's a very strong formation. It gives you nice width, nice midfield presence as well. So I came into this one and I wasn't really sure what to make of this because I don't think Reading at the time were in the top 6, but I know they were still quite a way up the table and they were doing quite well for themselves. But I came in and I was just thinking, after that poor performance against Villa, have I got what it takes to score a goal in this? Because I didn't really look as if I was ever going to score in that one, apart from the David Villa chance that came off the post, and that really didn't come from me. It was a mistake by Villa. So took 7 minutes in this one. We got ourselves a first chance. Riera Canadell, nice spin on the area there. Gets himself a ball through here to Thomas. Thomas takes the strike on. Fantastic save. And it rolls back into the path of, I think it was Lukijovic in the end, as he taps home to make it 1-0 inside 9 minutes on the clock. So my doubts were instantly put out by the boys, really, because, you know what? To take the lead in this one, it was a very lucky goal, you have to say. Thomas' strike originally coming back off of the keeper making a good save. Straight into the path of Lukijovic. Those are the chances that you just can't control, unfortunately. If it had palmed it anywhere else and Lukijovic wasn't there, it wasn't going to be 1-0. But we took the lead there, and my early sort of worries in this game were already taken care of with the early Lukijovic goal. So I could sort of sit back and just enjoy myself here and try and make sure that I was creating a few more chances and seeing if I could grab myself a second in this game. I want to say as well, guys, our strikers between them, they've scored about, I'd say, 16 or 17 league goals at the moment between all 4 of them. But it's nowhere near what I was hoping for because, of course, remember back to David Villa as Riera Canadell does, in fact, make it 2 here. Holds off the defender just enough and makes the finish there before the keeper can get out to him to make the block. But going back to the striker issue, last season, David Villa and Ollie Hill, they got a lot of goals between them. This season, David Villa, of course, not hitting the heights that he has done. Ollie Hill being deployed as a cam a little bit more, which is a bit reason why I guess he hasn't really scored as many goals as I was hoping for. But he's still the top scorer, is Ollie Hill, and he's been mostly deployed as a cam, which is a bit of an issue, really, because when your strikers out firing, if you can't find goals anywhere else, it's an issue. And when we go to the Premier League, we're not going to get as much time, we're not going to get as much possession, we're not going to be dominating these games as much as we are in the Championship right now. So chances are I may only create 2 or 3 opportunities in a game to try and score. In which case, I need my strikers to be firing on all cylinders. And at the moment, they're not quite doing that. So maybe I have to look at revamping the striking lineup come next season. Right now, I don't want to sign any strikers up until we move into the Prem next year, and I see my budget for the next season coming up. But you can see there, 2 shots, 2 on target, 2 goals. So in terms of taking your chances, very nicely done from the boys there. But I don't understand how that's only 2 shots when you've got to look at Thomas, because, of course, his shot coming back there to give Jovic the opening goal, it's 3, definitely 3. So I don't know what the match facts are saying there. But thank you all so much for watching this episode, guys. If you've enjoyed it, smash the like button. As always, guys, I will catch you all with another video tomorrow at 4 PM. Stay tuned. Adios.